Praise the Lord, everyone. Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Leisha, the preacher. Okay. I've been listening to a video um, of a young lady talking about Julia Brown working for the FBI and how, this is linked to Martin Luther King Jr. and all that. Well, on my channel, when it comes to Martin Luther King Jr., I feel that we should continue to, respect his dream, his accomplishments, and, his name all over the streets of America in major urban cities and stuff. I don't have a problem with any of that. That was his work that he achieved, and it is what it is. And I don't believe that because we're finding out other things about him, let's say the negative things about him, you know, that it should change anything. It shouldn't. Not at this point. Not at this point. The time to use a person's quote unquote negative details, the time to use that, to weigh it in, to discern, is when is at the same time that you're honoring the good. The good part of yourself can only go as far as the bad side of you allow. And vice versa. The bad side of you can only go as far as the good side of you allow. So what we do as Black Americans, just speaking in general, not every single Black American, of course, but, the majority of us, what we do is we focus on a person's good side and we support them to no end on the good side of their life. We ignore, hide, deny their bad side because we want them to be this good Black person in a suit representing us so we can be proud and hold our head up and all that. I get that. I understand that. But we shoot ourselves in the foot and end up with egg on our face when later on in life, all the bad side of that person is flooded. And then we want to some of us will just continue to stay in denial. And then the rest of us will just give up and say, oh, well, you know? So this is how I think we should do. I think that whenever we have a candidate that we want to represent us, we need to immediately discern their good and their bad, both, so that we can prepare. Be prepared to deal with the evil stuff as well as the good stuff of a person. We've got to be ready. Still use people. People are still valuable and useful when we discern their good and bad at the same time. We wouldn't be looking all crazy today had we did this with Martin Luther King in the beginning. In the beginning, had we all acknowledged that this man had a bad side and know what it was and still support his good side, we wouldn't be looking so confused right now had we did that back then. But we didn't do it back then. We just focused on, like, we did the same thing with Barack Obama. We did the same thing with him. We only focus on the good side. We refuse to deal with anything negative, and we would be mad at each other if someone said anything negative and, you know, accuse each other of being jealous and hateful just because we want to discern the full person, their good and bad. A person's bad doesn't quote unquote have to be held against them, but it definitely needs to be considered. It has to be considered. And I think the reason why a lot of Black people, and I'm going to go as far as saying Black women, Black mothers, you know what I mean? We're really good at wanting to, be proud of our children and, see their good and, Now I'm not saying men don't do this, but I don't think they're as hung up on the image as we are. And when you think about it, when it comes to the church, there are more women in attendance. Now, back when Martin Luther King was doing his thing and gaining his fame and all, there were a lot more men in church, a lot more men at that time. Black men being in church was a highly profitable thing. You can get jobs easier. You could, you know, it's like the church route allowed more access for Black men. And then I think the Black church was used eventually during their time as some type of, it was like the meeting place for the civil rights leaders. It was that one of the few places they could gather and be somewhat saved, somewhat safe. Remember, churches were being bombed and stuff. So again, we go through this every single time. Even with Diddy, you know, everyone was so happy to work with Diddy to get their career kickstarted. And everyone just, you know, um, hid and covered up his bad side. People wanted to be rich and famous so bad that they would endure knowing what these freak off parties were about. They knew. They knew and willingly engaged. Whether right or wrong, people knew what was up. Come on, y'all. And the investors, the people with the money, white people, they continued to invest as long as that boy was making money. As long as his good side was making so much money, the bad side was covered up until it was profitable to bring out the bad side, until it was profitable. So I believe when we ride with a man during his heyday, we're riding with him while he's building up his life and we're benefiting from it. And, we feeling good, we're feeling motivated, we're feeling inspired and all that, you know, then when the shit hit the fan, we should still be there. We should still be there. We shouldn't turn our back now. Why? Go all the way. Go all the way. I want people to go all the way with me. That's why on my channel, I'm just upfront. I've had a lot of wonderful achievements in my life, a lot of wonderful achievements, a lot of things to speak good of. But I also did some foolish stuff just to be married, just to have a husband, just to have a man. You know what I mean? I compromised myself in ways that I should have never done. just to be married. Foolish and stupid. Regardless to how I end up that way, or at the end of the day, it was still dumb. So I talk about it. Why not be honest? So as my channel grow, which it grows real slow, because again, I'm out here talking about my good and bad. And black people don't like to elevate people who acknowledge their bad. That's just not how we're designed. We only get behind people who can speak good, look good, talk good, just show their good side. We get behind them and their channels grow super fast. But channels where people are, you know, confessing, admitting, you know, the most accurate version of whatever story they're telling, discerning good and bad and all that, those people, the growth is slow. And that's fine. That's fine. It's okay. I know that. And I'm okay with that. But I want each step I take to be balanced, you know, the good and bad. Put it all out there. As I do this, my channel is growing slow, which is fine. But when I do get a subscriber, it's usually a solid one, you know. With that being said, please click like, subscribe, share the video. I have over 5,000 videos for your entertainment and information, you know. Um, so because I'm out here talking about my good and bad, and I want to be accepted, I want to still be inspirational, that's why I can still be supportive of Martin Luther King. And it's not just because um, his sister married into the Ferris bloodline. My daughters are Ferrises. Martin Luther King Jr.'s family, his sister married into our, well, not me, but my daughter, their bloodline, their father. Their father is a Ferris. And his uncle married um, Martin Luther King Jr.'s sister. So, and I'm not being supportive just because there's like a weak family connection as far as me personally. He's related to my daughters through marriage, not so much me. But at the end of the day, we enjoy, um his good side. We enjoyed it. And now, it's being released, the possibility of his evil bad side or whatever, and so we gotta eat it. We gotta eat it because you know, we've been with him the whole time. And it's our fault that we didn't want to look at his bad side earlier. That's on us. Well, on me. That's on me. Now, I've been hearing stuff over the years. I've heard different things over the years. So I'm not surprised at all because he just remind me of my daddy, remind me of, the men in my family. He's just no different than the other men in my family, the other men I know. And as far as the word like Marxist and communist and all that kind of stuff, the young lady's video, she breaks it down to basically being anti-God, anti-Christ. Okay, well, again, this man had a good and a bad side. And even if he, was a Marxist or a communist, I'm not saying he was or wasn't, you know. I'm just saying that, okay, so he, like a lot of other people, used the pulpit to sell their dream, to push a concept, you know. His father was already a preacher and he was raised in the church, so he understands, the church thing. And then he had his own dream. So, you know, so like I was saying, just like Obama, we did the same thing with him. Everything had to be perfect and wonderful and gorgeous and great. And then we just ignored all this other stuff. And so now all that other stuff has come out in more detail. And so what have we done? We've turned on him. We've turned on him. Now, some of us will always, look at him as sweet and wonderful and the first black president and we're just sold and that's fine. Then the other of us, because of what we're finding out, we're turning on. Well, I'm treating him the same from day one because I peeped his game day one. I'm like, you know what? Back in 2008, I was like, there's something about him that remind me of Moses in the Bible. His life really lines up with Moses in the Bible a lot. you know? So I don't expect any man to be without sin. No man. So that's where I stand on that. You know, I don't have a whole lot to say, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. So again, click like, subscribe, share my videos. I don't have Cash App anymore, but I do have PayPal still. My PayPal account is still active for those who donate. I appreciate all support. My Cash App is Dr. Alicia the Preacher. And I'm not monetized on any social media just yet. So, you know, I appreciate your support. Thank you all and be blessed. I'll be back. This is just a good time to be alive. I'm so excited, guys. I'm more of a commentary person. I mean, I have, my own ideas, and I'm writing a book called The Eternal Deficit of Mankind to explain my ideas. But in the meantime, all these current events and, you know, other people's opinions and stuff are so exciting to me. And when I listen to other people's work, I don't listen to approve or slam them per se. I just like to hear what other people think. I like to hear what other people say, how they put together you know, their work. And so, I may have an opinion about it. I'm going to commentate but as far as my own opinions and things, I make my live videos and say what I'm going to say. But for the most part, I'm writing this stuff, putting it together. And, but yeah, I can listen to, on my channel, you're going to see videos about the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, and all the parties in between. I'm just a party kind of girl, okay? I was a cheerleader, a gymnast, just I'm a performer, Um, but I love reviewing other people's work, listening to their work, and then, have something to say. That's just what I like to do. And so I'm enjoying what I'm doing, even though I'm not getting paid for what I'm doing. But I do have student loan debt out there. And my education is mostly education related. Like, for example, my master's degrees are in education, post secondary, so adults. And my PhD is also like post secondary, adult learners kind of thing. So to me, being on here, if I never get paid, it's okay because I owe. I owe what I've learned. I'm in debt with the government and I owe what I learned. And I owe, I just feel like I owe. And this feels good to me. to share. And if I, get money out of this one day, great. If not, I'm still okay because it's my way of giving back. I don't have the money to pay back my student loans right now, but I mean, I've paid some student loans, but I haven't paid all of it back yet. I'm still, working on it. So, but until it's all paid, I'm giving away what I've learned for free. But not really because I owe the government. I owe. I owe to share what they funded. So that's how I explain being on here, sharing myself the way that I do, because I have a really big bill over my head. And I keep the rest of my life pretty small. Like I don't have a lot of crazy, credit card debt and stuff like that. I don't. And, I own my home clear and free. I'm a minimalist. A minimalist. I try to keep it really tight. So, but anyway, you all be blessed and thank you for your support. I'm so excited. My channel is a slow grow. I get about maybe like 10 subscribers a day now. On average, I'm around 10 subscribers a day. And I love it. It's wonderful, you know. All right, guys, you all be blessed. And I'll talk to you soon.